Good day. Today, we will talk about advanced training in firefighting. Intended learning outcomes: the students must be able to describe the A. Causes of fire. Fire prevention. C. Theory of fire. D. Fixed fire extinguishing systems. E. Protective equipment. F. Firefighting organizations and procedures. G. Component of firefighting. H. Strategy and tactics. Advanced training in firefighting. Causes of fire aboard ship. 1. Smoking. At the top of every list of fire causes aboard ship is careless smoking. Careless disposal of lit cigarettes, cigars, pipes and matches. B. Smoking in bed is dangerous at any time. A smoldering fire can be started just by touching the glowing cigarette to the bedding. The resulting smoke can cause drowsiness and possible asphyxiation before the fire is discovered. C. Open flames and glowing embers can be very dangerous in certain parts of the ship. Smoking must be prohibited in these spaces, and they should be clearly marked as no smoking areas. B. Smoking in cargo holds and weather decks when the hatches are open is strictly forbidden. E. Engine rooms and boiler rooms contain relatively large amounts of petroleum products such as fuel oil, lubricating oil and grease. Carelessly discarded smoking materials can start fires in oily rags or flammable materials. F. Smoking should be prohibited in storage room and workspaces. These spaces contain large amounts of flammable materials. 2. Spontaneous combustion occurs when the heat of slow oxidation is confined until the materials reach a temperature sufficient for ignition. An example of this is when a rag soaked in oil, left discarded in the corner of a workshop or engine room. If the area is warm and there is no ventilation, the oil in the rag starts to oxidize and reacts chemically with oxygen. Oxidation is a process that produces heat. 3. Cargoes. Many materials that are carried as cargo are subject to spontaneous combustion. Ignition occurs through the chemical interaction of two or more substances, one of which is often air or water. Metals sodium and potassium react with water. Must be segregated as flammable solids and labeled dangerous when wet. Metal powders such as magnesium, photonium, calcium and zirconium oxidize rapidly in the presence of air and moisture. Keep dry and segregated as flammable solids and labeled dangerous when wet. 4. Faulty electric circuits and equipment. For properly insulated and wired equipment, electricity is a safe and convenient source of power. However, when electrical equipment wears out, is misused or is poorly wired, it can convert electrical energy into heat, thus a fire hazard. 5. Jury-rigging electrical outlets to serve additional appliances, particularly in crew's quarters and galleys, is dangerous practice. The wiring in every electrical circuit is designed to carry a certain maximum load. When the wiring in every electrical circuit is overloaded with too many operating appliances, it can overheat and burn its insulation. 6. Cargo stowage. Even the most dangerous cargo can be transported safely if it is properly stowed. On the other hand, supposedly safe cargo can cause a fire if it carelessly stowed. 7. Loading and unloading operations. These should be supervised by the deck officers. Leaking cargo should be rejected immediately. Remember, a vegetable oil that leaks onto baled cotton or rags could cause spontaneous combustion. 8. Galley operations. Galley is a very busy place. The intense activity, long hours of operation, the many people and the basic hazards, open flames, fuel lines, rubbish and grease accumulations all add to the dangers of fire. It is extremely important that the galley must never be left unattended when it is in use. 9. Building and burning operation hazardous by their very nature. The flame from an oxyacetylene torch can reach a temperature of 3,315.5 degrees centigrade, 600 degrees Fahrenheit. Building temperatures are reached by burning a mixture of gas and oxygen or by using electricity. The high temperatures, molten metal and sparks produced in welding and burning operations can be an extremely serious fire hazard. Fire watch must be maintained during operation. Fire prevention programs the responsibilities of the master. The master of the vessel is responsible for developing the attitudes and cooperation required for the best operation of the ship. This responsibility extends obviously to fire safety. During formal meetings, formal discussions, casual conversations and training sessions, the master should convey his concern for fire prevention. There should be no doubt that he wants a fire-safe ship, and that he expects every member of the crew to assist in reaching this goal. Responsibilities of crewmen. The details of shipboard operation are the responsibility of the crew, and fire prevention duties are no exception. Every crewman is responsible for eliminating or reporting hazardous conditions in his quarters, his work areas and wherever else he may find them. Crewmen are responsible for safely operating the ship's equipment. The most important responsibility of a crewman in a fire prevention program is to develop and maintain the proper attitude. The crewmen who are interested and involved in the program will make it work. Elements of effective programs. 1. Formal and informal training. 2. Periodic inspections. 3. Preventive maintenance and repair. 4. Recognition of effort. Training curriculum. The training should be focused primarily on the prevention of fire is a secondary on the fact that different classes of fires require different extinguishing agents. Three. Maintenance and use of portable fire extinguishers. Crewmen should develop confidence in these appliances. They should check to see that fire extinguishers are in their proper places, in good condition, and ready for use. 4. Good housekeeping. Basically this means cleanliness. Examples are listed below. A. Cleaning rags and waste should be stored in covered metal container. B. Accumulations of oily rags should be placed in covered metal containers. C. Accumulations of packaging materials should be disposed of properly. D. Tonnage should only be stored in the proper area. E. Accumulations of sawdust or wood chips should be disposed of properly. F. Oil, soaked clothing should never be stored in crew's lockers. G. Paints, varnish and so forth should be stored in paint locker. H. Kerosene and solvents should be stored in appropriate containers and approved locations. I. Oil-soaked clothing should not be worn by crew members. J. Avoid soot accumulations and boiler uptakes and air heaters. 5. Elimination and control of ignition sources by A. Not smoking in restricted areas. B. Not overloading electrical circuits. C. Keeping flammable materials clear of pipes. D. Thoroughly cleaning cargo holds before any cargo is loaded. E. Careful loading operations so that bales do not strike coamings. F. Removing cargo lights from holds when loading is completed. G. observing all precautions when welding or burning, including the posting of a fire watch. H. Eliminating the causes of static electricity. I. Awareness of the possibility of spontaneous combustion. 6. Knowledge of cargo. The crew should be familiar with the types of cargo carried on their ship. A night-by-item review of the cargo manifest will provide the crew with the information of the amounts of cargo on board. To acquaint the crew with the particular characteristics of hazardous cargoes, they should refer to Chemical Data Guide for bulk shipment by water. 6. Periodic inspections. Inspection is one of the most important parts of the shipboard fire prevention program. Its purpose is to find and eliminate fuels and ignition sources that could cause fires. The master, chief officer and chief engineer should make a formal joint inspection of the entire ship, at least once a week. 7. Requirements prior to repair and inspection. The United States Coast Guard regulations, in Title 46 CFR, require inspections before riveting, welding, burning or such fire-producing operations are undertaken in certain portion of the vessel. They also require that the provisions of NFPA Standard No. 306, Standard for the Control of Gas Hazards on Vessels to be Repaired, be used as a certified guide. Regulations state that the inspection be made by a marine chemist. The master, chief officer and chief engineer should be familiar with the services of marine chemists and the certificates they issue. Safe for men condition is defined as follows. A. The compartment contains at least 18% oxygen by volume. B. Toxic materials are within permissible concentrations. C. If the area is maintained as directed, residues will not produce toxic materials. Availability of testing instruments. A. Combustible gas indicator. Determine whether there is a flammable atmosphere in any area of a vessel. B. Flame safety lamp, used to test only for oxygen deficiency. If there is enough oxygen in the surrounding atmosphere to keep the flame burning, there is enough oxygen to support life. C. Oxygen indicator. It has the advantage of being equipped with a meter so that the actual amount of oxygen in the atmosphere can be determined. The instrument can also be used to determine whether a normally inert gas is free of oxygen, that is, contain less than 5% oxygen.